Hello, everybody. I've just jumped on to show this extraordinary thing that's happened in Brazil. I'm going to talk about a few things on this video, but this story I think we'll lead off with because it's just extraordinary. Watch this. Okay, so that was footage of a bearded man who walked into a women's toilets in Brazil, where self-ID is the law of the land. And when he was confronted, he just said he would strike the women. And Redux has a story on it that is just extraordinary, which I'll share in the comments. And here's my, basically, this is something I found out when I was researching this video, is that self-ID is the law of the land in 18 countries, right? One of those countries I just realized I found out is Pakistan, that noted exemplar of women's rights. So here's my question. Why is it that in 18 countries, mentally ill men, like the bearded man in the video I just showed, are suddenly women's problem? Why are these men suddenly a problem that women have to solve? Why are they a problem that they now have to navigate in their daily lives? Why are they such a problem that if they say the wrong thing back to them when they're threatened, when the police turn up, it's them who might get into trouble? It's the women who might get into trouble. Why is this the case in 18 countries? And why is it the case, let me remove this, and why is it the case that Nicola Sturgeon is pushing for it to happen in Scotland? Why are they pushing so hard for it? You know, why is it such an important thing for them to get self-ID? I'll tell you why. I'm going to show you another video. If I can manage this, though, give me one sec. I'm sorry, but sometimes it does make me so angry that I shake. You know, I simply cannot believe my colleagues in comedy are still silent on all this. You know, I'm going to talk about them in a bit as well. So yeah.
I don't see any violent men.
You'll be more than representative of the Students' Association. I'm not here to represent the Students' Association. I'm here as a trans woman and an adult human about adult human females. You can see that.
Got a little Ricky Gervais look to the camera there. Let's watch it again and let's look out for that Ricky Gervais moment. I love it. It's so revealing.
I don't see any violent men.
You'll be more than representative of the Students' Association. I'm not here to represent the Students' Association. I'm here as a trans woman and an adult human about adult human females. You can see that.
I don't see any violent men.
You'll be more than representative of the Students' Association. I'm not here to represent the Students' Association.
There we go. Sorry about that. So yeah, so that guy is someone who we saw just tried to just successfully stopped a feminist film being shown at Edinburgh University. That's the kind of person who is behind this activism. And once again, how are women supposed to go out in the world and navigate it when they're at risk of running into men like Robin there or the Brazilian gentleman with the beard, you know. Suffragettes talked about or I believe maybe it was given to them later by historians, I don't know, but the urinary leash, which was before there were single-sex services for women were confined to their homes, you know. They are not confined to their homes, but they couldn't go too far away from them. So they were confined within the area of their homes, right? Now, is that what Nicola Sturgeon is looking for Scottish women? You know, because that's what she'll get. And I say so, and J.K. Rowling says so. And no matter how they attack us, we continue to say so because we're right. And this keeps happening. You know, one of the people who gets a very hard time for me in this fight is John Ronson. And he deserves it. Because John Ronson is someone who made a puff piece podcast about Camp Trans, which was one of the earliest attempts by these vicious, demanding, entitled men to get into a women's only space. It was the famous Mitchfest Festival, a woman-only festival. And of course it ended, but you wouldn't know this to hear John's podcast, it ended with a triple murder when one of the Camp Trans attendees killed 2 lesbians and their son. 2 of them were black people. John Ronson doesn't mention that at all in his story about it. Why not? Especially when John usually has a nose for the unusual and the grotesque, which this certainly was. Why has he still not commented on it? 3 people were killed, and it turns his podcast into what I always thought it was, which was an insult to those victims and to those women who came under the unfortunate experience of being under the attention of these men. So, you know, we also have another central figure in all this who is conveniently ignored by everyone, Amy Challoner. Amy Challoner, who is a furry fetishist who's married to a paedophile, was brought up by another paedophile who tortured a young girl in the attic of his home and is currently serving 25 years for it. This bloke, excuse me, but he is a man, Amy Challoner, real name Ashton Challoner, has a relationship with 2 other men who he met through his father, one of whom is an admitted paedophile, or at least admits to writing paedophilic stories. This man, Amy Challoner, was at the center of Stonewall when they started fighting for self-ID in this country. Why isn't that a scandal? Why isn't every journalist writing about it? Well, we all know why. Because they're fucking terrified and they're cowards. And even now they pretend not to see what this is, which is a major push for women's rights that is sometimes spearheaded by what you might call the bully class or the predator class. These are the people who are reporting women to their employers, who are trying to stop them from watching films, who are attacking them in their own private spaces. That's who this law benefits. And I cannot believe that my friends in comedy who have daughters like Arthur Matthews and Neil Hannon would be happy for them to live, are happy for them to live, because they're both in Ireland, which has self-ID. How are they happy for them to live in such a country where their daughters are so unsafe? I don't understand it. And where are all the big commentators, the big kind of comic minds and geniuses of my generation on all this? Where is Charlie Brooker? Where is Chris Morris? Where's Armando Iannucci? Where are they? Why aren't they talking about this? Why don't they think it's an emergency after the closure of the Tavistock, after the scenes we keep seeing? Why am I still swinging in the wind waiting for people to stand up for me? Anyway, I'll give you another little piece of news. David Paisley is still suing me. He might get this taken down, I guess. So I better back it up somewhere on Odyssey or something, because he's very good at that. He gets things taken down very quickly. But he's doing the same thing he did to me that I believe he did to Kerry Black, which is he's sending the papers so that the particulars of claim so that they arrive on Christmas Day. Did it to Kerry as well. Did something similar to Kerry, you know? So that's who we're dealing with. We're dealing with people who are psychotic sadists. And they are able, like Stephanie Hayden, who sued me, another person who sued me, and they're able to just beat the shit out of us because no one else is watching them. You know, I even wrote to Ian Hislop of Private Eye about Stephanie Hayden. No interest. You know, thought it was a Twitter spat. A Twitter spat, yeah, that helped ruin my life, you know. But anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. 18 countries have self-ID now. If Scotland becomes the 19th, then the scenes we just saw, even though I know one of them happened in the UK, but a lot of places are under the control of Stonewall law, which acts as if self-ID is in place. But if it happens in Scotland, those are the scenes you will see. And you will see sexual attacks, you will see murders, and the only time those men will get into trouble is the moment they commit those crimes. Stop being held hostage by your children and your dumb advisors just out of college. They are feeding you a line of bullshit. And you are going to regret these years terribly, you know, especially if self-ID has made the law of the land in another country. So, and again, I stand with J.K. Rowling. Fucking hell, let's make sure that if it passes in Scotland, we do whatever we can to help Scottish women. But fuck Nicola Sturgeon. She's an absolute betrayer of women and gay people.